If you've ever felt a woman pulling close while pretending she's distant, this moment is for you. Your chest tightens because something real is happening, and you're afraid you'll miss it again. Before we go deeper, subscribe and like this video, because what you're about to hear can change how you see women forever. I'm speaking to you as a psychologist, but also as a woman who understands how dangerous feelings can feel when they're unspoken. When a woman wants you, she rarely announces it. Desire doesn't shout, it whispers. And those whispers are easy to miss if you were never taught how women protect their emotions. One of the clearest signs is controlled closeness. She finds reasons to be near you without demanding attention. She sits where she can feel your presence, not to be seen, but to feel safe. This isn't accidental. Proximity lowers her nervous system, and she only seeks that regulation around someone she trusts and desires. Another signal is selective vulnerability. She doesn't tell everyone her fears, but she lets small truths slip with you. Not dramatic confessions, just quiet honesty. This is her testing emotional safety. Women don't open doors like this unless they imagine someone staying. Pay attention to how she remembers you. Not the big things, but the tiny details you forgot you shared. This isn't politeness, it's mental investment. The brain prioritizes what matters emotionally, and you're taking up space there. You may notice mixed signals, warmth followed by restraint. That isn't manipulation, it's self-control. She wants you, but she also wants dignity. Pulling back is how she checks if you'll step forward with consistency, not pressure. Watch how she reacts to your attention. Genuine interest relaxes her. She softens, her voice slows, her body faces you. Desire calms women more than it excites them because it feels like relief. She also challenges you subtly, not to dominate, but to see if you're emotionally stable. A woman who wants you needs to know you won't collapse under mild resistance. Most men miss these signs because they're waiting for obvious permission. Women don't give permission, they give patterns. When you learn to read them, you stop guessing and you start understanding. If this resonates, breathe and stay present, because awareness changes outcomes, confidence grows quietly, and attraction deepens when a man notices what is offered without demanding proof or rushing fearfully today gently. There is a moment when a woman wants you, and instead of moving closer, she watches. Not with suspicion, but with quiet curiosity. She studies how you handle silence, how you respond when there's nothing to perform. This is one of the most misunderstood behaviors men experience. You think she's losing interest, but psychologically, she's evaluating emotional safety. When a woman desires you, she becomes aware of her own vulnerability. Attraction isn't just excitement, it's exposure. So she slows things down to see who you really are when there's no momentum carrying you forward. If you stay grounded instead of anxious, something shifts inside her. You'll notice she asks indirect questions. Not, do you want a relationship? But, what kind of people do you respect? She's listening for values, not answers. Women reveal interest by mapping your inner world against theirs. Compatibility matters more than charm at this stage. Another subtle behavior is emotional mirroring. Her tone begins to match yours. Her pacing syncs with how you speak. This isn't imitation, it's unconscious bonding. The nervous system does this when it feels safe and drawn in. Most men miss it because they're focused on words, not rhythm. You may also see her protect your image. She defends you lightly when others joke at your expense, or she reframes something you said in a more generous way. This is emotional alignment. When a woman wants you, she subconsciously places herself on your side of the world. There's also a quiet consistency in her presence. She doesn't chase, but she doesn't disappear. She responds reliably, not instantly, but thoughtfully. This balance is intentional. She's signaling interest without abandoning self-respect. Pay attention to how she handles boundaries. A woman who wants you respects yours. She doesn't push for attention when you're unavailable, but she notices when you return. That noticing matters. It tells you that your absence registered emotionally. Sometimes she shares joy before pain. She tells you about something that made her laugh, a small win, a moment of pride. Women share happiness with men they want to include in their future emotional landscape. What most men misunderstand is that desire often looks calm, not dramatic. It's regulated, observant, and careful. When a woman wants you, she's not trying to impress you. She's trying to feel secure enough to let you matter. If you can stay present without forcing clarity, you allow her feelings to grow instead of retreat. Attraction deepens when it feels safe to exist quietly, without being interrogated or rushed, because true desire unfolds in environments where pressure is absent and trust is allowed to breathe naturally. When a woman wants you, her attention becomes intentional, not constant, not overwhelming, but precise. She notices shifts in your mood before you explain them. She asks how you're doing and actually waits for the answer. This isn't curiosity, it's attunement. Emotional attunement is one of the strongest indicators of desire, and it happens beneath conscious choice. You'll feel it when she gives you space without disconnecting. She doesn't panic when you're busy. She doesn't punish you with silence. Instead, she holds the connection lightly, confident it will return. That confidence comes from emotional investment. Women don't stay regulated around men they don't care about. Another behavior most men miss is how she invites you into her routine. Not dramatically, not with declarations, but casually. A mention of her favorite coffee spot, a comment about a walk she takes regularly. These are openings, not plans. She's showing you where her life lives and seeing if you step closer. Watch how she responds to your boundaries. A woman hiding deep feelings won't cross them recklessly. She'll respect your time, your pace, your autonomy. This isn't disinterest, it's restraint. Desire mixed with self-respect creates patience. There's also a subtle softness in her disagreement. She may challenge your ideas, but without contempt. She's not trying to win. She's trying to be understood. This matters because women don't bother engaging deeply with men they don't imagine staying connected to. You may notice she reveals layers gradually, not a sudden emotional flood, but a steady unfolding. Each interaction adds depth. This pacing is deliberate. She's protecting herself while moving closer, measuring your consistency over time. Another sign is how she reacts to your success. Genuine happiness, not comparison. She celebrates without making it about herself. Emotionally invested women feel aligned with your wins because they subconsciously see them as shared progress. She also listens between your words. When you joke, she hears what you're avoiding. When you're quiet, she doesn't rush to fill the space. Silence becomes comfortable. Comfort is intimacy before intimacy. Most men mistake excitement for desire, but excitement fades. Desire stabilizes. It becomes grounded, observant, and quietly powerful. When a woman wants you, she's not trying to consume you. She's trying to integrate you into her emotional world without losing herself. If you rush this, she retreats. If you doubt it loudly, she protects herself. But if you remain steady, self-respecting, and emotionally present, her restraint slowly turns into openness. Understanding this changes everything. You stop chasing reassurance. You stop misreading calm as disinterest. And for the first time, you begin to recognize desire, not by how loudly it speaks, but by how carefully it shows up and stays. There's a moment when a woman wants you and her behavior becomes paradoxical. She becomes both more composed and more revealing at the same time. Men often misread this as confusion, but psychologically, it's integration. Her feelings are settling, and that changes how she shows up around you. You may notice she becomes more honest about small preferences, not dramatic opinions, but simple truths. What she likes to eat, how she spends quiet evenings, what drains her energy. This is not random sharing. She's letting you see her real rhythm, because attraction pushes women toward authenticity, not performance. Another subtle sign is how she manages conflict. She doesn't avoid it, but she doesn't escalate it either. When something feels off, she brings it up calmly, sometimes awkwardly. That vulnerability is significant. Women do not risk emotional discomfort with men they don't care about. Silence is safer than honesty when there's no attachment. Watch how she includes you mentally, even when you're not present. She references things you've said in past conversations. She connects current experiences to moments you shared. This indicates cognitive bonding. Her mind is organizing experiences with you as a consistent emotional reference point. You might also feel her testing emotional reliability, not games, but moments where she pauses and observes your response. If she shares something slightly personal and you handle it with respect, something inside her relaxes. Safety deepens attraction more than intensity ever could. Her body language becomes less guarded. Not exaggerated flirtation, but openness. Shoulders relaxed, feet angled toward you. eye contact that lingers just a fraction longer than social norms require. These signals happen unconsciously when the nervous system feels drawn and secure. She also becomes less reactive to external validation. When a woman wants you, your attention carries weight. Compliments from others don't shift her mood the way yours does. This doesn't mean exclusivity, it means prioritization. Another behavior is gentle curiosity about your inner life. Not interrogation, but sincere interest. She wants to understand how you think, not just what you do. This is emotional intimacy forming beneath the surface. What men often miss is that desire doesn't always accelerate. Sometimes it stabilizes first. It becomes quieter, deeper, and more intentional. This phase feels subtle because it's not about excitement anymore. It's about trust. When a woman wants you, she begins to regulate her emotions around your presence. This is one of the most invisible signals of all. Her stress lowers when you're near. Her voice steadies. Her breathing slows. You might feel it without knowing why. Psychologically, your presence is becoming a source of safety, not stimulation. You'll notice she trusts you with unpolished moments, not breakdowns, but reality. She admits when she's tired, uncertain, or unsure. This is significant because women are often conditioned to present competence. Letting that mask slip is a form of intimacy. Another behavior is how she handles reassurance. She doesn't fish for it. She doesn't demand emotional proof. Instead, she notices consistency. Desire rooted in security doesn't beg, it observes. If your actions align with your words, her attachment grows quietly. She may also become protective of the connection without naming it. She avoids unnecessary misunderstandings. She clarifies instead of assuming. This shows investment. When a woman wants you, she doesn't want the bond to fracture over ego or misinterpretation. Watch how she shares her world selectively. You're not introduced to everyone, but you're introduced to what matters. A favorite song, a personal habit, a private opinion. These are emotional keys, not social gestures. You might see her soften her independence slightly, not losing it but allowing support. She accepts help without defensiveness. This is trust. Independence plus receptivity is a powerful indicator of desire. Another sign is emotional patience. She doesn't rush you. She allows you to unfold at your own pace. This patience comes from wanting something sustainable, not fleeting. Women who want you long-term care about how things grow, not how fast they ignite. She also responds to your vulnerability with steadiness. When you share something real, she doesn't recoil or minimize it. She stays present. That presence is a mirror of her own feelings. Most men mistake this phase for neutrality because it lacks fireworks. But psychologically, this is where attachment deepens. The nervous system is choosing familiarity over novelty. If you remain emotionally congruent here, not performative or withdrawn, her hidden feelings gain confidence. If you become inconsistent, she protects herself by pulling back without explanation. Understanding this allows you to stop chasing signs and start becoming the kind of man whose presence invites openness. Desire grows strongest where it feels safe to rest, and a woman who wants you is slowly learning that rest might exist with you if you continue to show up without pressure, games, or emotional volatility that forces her to choose self-protection over connection. As her feelings deepen, a woman begins to reveal something very few men ever notice: emotional alignment. She starts anticipating you, not obsessively, but intuitively. She times conversations when she knows you'll be receptive. She brings up topics that resonate with your values. This isn't coincidence, it's emotional calibration. You may notice she becomes more transparent about her limits. She tells you what drains her, what she won't tolerate, what matters to her peace. This isn't pushing you away, it's the opposite. She's showing you the conditions under which she can stay. Women don't outline emotional boundaries unless they're imagining continuity. Another subtle behavior is how she reacts to uncertainty. Instead of withdrawing completely, she leans into clarity through behavior, not demands. She stays consistent even when things feel undefined. This tells you her interest isn't fragile, it's considered. She also starts responding to you emotionally, not just socially. When you're stressed, she adjusts her energy. When you're calm, she relaxes further. This is nervous system bonding. Her emotional state is beginning to synchronize with yours, which only happens when attraction moves beyond surface level. You might notice she values your opinion more than she admits. She asks what you think before making certain decisions, not because she needs approval, but because your perspective has weight. This is respect paired with desire. There's also a shift in how she handles physical space. She becomes comfortable sharing it without tension, not overtly sexual, but natural. Sitting closer, lingering when leaving. These moments are quiet confirmations that her body feels safe near you. She may tease you gently, not to test dominance, but to create intimacy. Playfulness is a bonding behavior. It allows closeness without vulnerability, overload. Women often use it when feelings are strong but still guarded. Another overlooked sign is emotional accountability. If she senses she's hurt you, she cares. She reflects. She adjusts. Indifference never does that. Care always does. What most men fail to understand is that by this point, she's already made an internal decision. The question isn't whether she wants you, it's whether she feels safe enough to let you know. If you pressure her here, she closes. If you disappear emotionally, she assumes you're not aligned. But if you stay steady, honest and grounded, her restraint begins to lift naturally. This is the phase where patience matters more than charisma, where consistency outweighs cleverness, where being emotionally available without being needy becomes the deciding factor. A woman who wants you is watching how you hold space when nothing is being demanded of you. And if you can do that well, her hidden feelings stop hiding, not because you asked, but because they finally feel safe enough to be seen. At the deepest level, when a woman wants you, her behavior becomes quietly decisive, not dramatic, not announced, but internally settled. You feel it in the absence of games. There is less ambiguity, even if nothing has been said. Her energy stabilizes around you, and that stability is the loudest signal of all. She stops scanning the room when you're there. Her attention isn't restless, it's anchored. This doesn't mean exclusivity has been discussed. It means her nervous system has chosen familiarity over novelty. That choice happens long before words ever do. You may notice she begins to invest emotionally in outcomes that include you. She considers how you'll feel. She adjusts plans slightly to accommodate your rhythm. This isn't sacrifice, it's integration. You are being factored into her internal world. Another subtle behavior is emotional courage. She risks small rejections. She initiates contact occasionally. She shares a thought without over-editing it. These are not bold moves, but they are meaningful. Women don't take emotional risks with men they don't want. She also becomes less guarded about how much she cares. Not openly vulnerable, but less hidden. You might catch warmth in her eyes when she looks at you, a softness that wasn't there before. This happens when feelings are no longer being actively suppressed. Watch how she responds to your consistency. If you show up steadily, she leans in more. If you pull away slightly, she notices. Not with panic, but with awareness. Your presence matters enough to be registered. There's also a shift in her future language. Not promises, but subtle inclusion. You'd probably like this. We should try that sometime. These aren't plans. They're invitations into possibility. Desire imagines before it declares. Most importantly, she allows herself to be seen by you. Not perfectly, not all at once, but honestly. She trusts that you won't use her openness against her. That trust is rare, and it is the foundation of lasting attraction. Men miss this because they're looking for certainty. But attraction doesn't begin with certainty. It begins with safety. And by the time a woman feels safe enough to want you openly, she's already wanted you quietly for a long time. If you've recognized these behaviors, the work now is simple but not easy. Stay grounded, stay respectful, stay emotionally present without pressure. Let her choose at her own pace. Because when a woman truly wants you, she doesn't need to be convinced. She needs to feel safe enough to stop hiding. And the man who understands this doesn't chase desire. He allows it to arrive, naturally, fully, and without fear.